Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell, and we're going to do a great episode tonight with Jason Cameron. We're about to be reunited this week. Can't wait. It's been way too long since we worked together, and just a couple more days, and we're back together. This is going to be great.
Yep, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be. They've extended me a little bit
Okay.
since I thought I was going to start on Wednesday, but then she asked if I could start Friday, and I was like, "Oh, am I going to get a couple more days off? Okay, all right. I guess I'll take that then."
Okay, cool. Wow. Okay, great. I never heard that. So,
Yeah.
oh, good. Well, that's nice. You'll be able to catch up on life quite a bit more. And we're supposed to get some actually fantastic weather starting on Thursday. So, uh,
Nice. That's going to be
27
awesome.
degrees, I think they said it's going to get up to.
Get out of here. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow, summer came quick. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Just
Spring is
bam.
over.
Here we go. Spring's done.
Yeah.
Bring on summer. Yeah. So, yeah, it's supposed to get to be pretty nice weather for about 3, 4 days and then dipping down again, I guess, next week. And then hopefully we'll get some really solid long-term weather from there. But yeah, good. Well, that'll be nice for you having a pretty much a whole week off. So that's awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. Just catching up on sleep and stuff, and also too catching up on some life stuff because there's a couple of things that I definitely can do now.
Yeah. Nice. So, let's get to your attire tonight. Nice hat, nice shirt. Is that Cobra Kai there?
Oh my goodness, good eye. Yes, that's exactly it.
Nice.
So yeah, like I got this made actually because love Karate Kid, and I'm wearing the hat because the hat kind of goes with the shirt.
Nice.
I'm not necessarily a Cavs fan, but I am glad that they made it through. But I'm also very happy that my Magic put up a fight. I told you that they would.
Yeah,
They
they sure
did.
did. Yeah.
They sure
That
did.
that was a incredible series and it showed me that the regular season does mean something because they finished one game ahead of Orlando in the regular season,
Yeah.
got the home court advantage, and every one of the 7 games in that series was won on the home court. So
Yeah.
that's it showed that the regular season does mean something, which less and less as the years go by, it seems like it doesn't, but that definitely showed it did.
Yeah, definitely for that series. Definitely for that series, it did mean something. And it's funny how it was just one or two games that was the difference between those two teams,
Yeah.
and that's the outcome. That's what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah. Donovan Mitchell back to his incredible playoff self. He said he was trying to make up for last year, getting knocked out in the first round. But when he turns it on, man, this guy is phenomenal. What a talent. And he pretty much helped will that team. Garland had a really bad game, game 7. I thought Mobley played good, but, he doesn't contribute anything offensively. So, really, Mitchell threw the team on his back and got that victory for him.
No, he most certainly did. Yeah, 39 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. Like he basically did everything. And he has this uncanny ability to score in close amongst the trees. He
Yeah,
always gets his shot
amazing.
off, he always finds an angle, and he always literally gets it in. So
Yeah.
he was amazing. But the other guy that dragged his team along for the ride was Paulo Banchero.
Banchero, yeah.
Yeah, he was
What a talent.
amazing. 38 points and 16 rebounds. He was absolutely awesome.
Did you ever see that viral video where there's a reporter that covers the F1 and he always goes down onto the track just before the race actually starts and he starts looking around for celebrities and interviews them, tries to talk to some of the drivers. He came upon a guy. Did you see this at all? This was last
No,
year.
I didn't see it.
The Miami Grand Prix was just this past weekend. Miami Grand Prix last year. The reporter was walking around. I should know his name, but it doesn't come to me right now. But he walked up on a guy and said, "Hey, how you enjoying the festivities? Pretty good up here." And he thought it was Patrick Mahomes, and he was asking him questions. And then he goes, "Oh, uh, you're not Patrick Mahomes, are you? Who are you?" And he goes, "Paolo Banchero." He goes, "Oh, okay." And I was like, "That's weird that he thought that he was
Yeah,
there." Patrick Mahomes is much smaller.
little guy, fucking huge guy,
Yeah,
huge.
yeah, you're talking 6'10" to 6'1" or something. Yeah, so I don't know. It was super funny though. It went viral and it made me laugh beyond belief because I was watching it live and I couldn't believe that he actually said it. He admitted it. He thought, "Oh, I thought you were Patrick Mahomes." And no, he's like, "No, Paolo Banchero."
Yeah, because for me, if I'm Paulo, I go, since when is Patrick Mahomes 6'10"?
Yes.
260, 270. When
Yeah.
did that happen? That has never happened.
Yeah, this reporter obviously is not a fan of basketball or football.
No,
He's just a
not at all.
racing guy. Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, he does have a lot of hilarious moments of talking with celebrities and people that are down on the track. I seen him talk to Shaq before, many others, but yeah, that always every time I see Van Caro from that point forward, I remember that moment. It was hilarious.
No. And also, too, come on, man. Does he act? Does Paulo Banchero actually look like Patrick Mahomes? Like, come on, man. Come on. And you have to know if you're that guy and you target celebrities, tall guys, or excessively tall, not football players.
No,
Non football players. There you go.
yeah.
There's some help for
I
you.
guess Bancaro did say that maybe he thought it was because Travis Kelsey was in his midst and he was kind of hanging around. I don't think Bancaro and Kelsey were necessarily hanging
Yeah,
together,
together.
but they were kind of in the same little general area. And I do remember seeing Kelsey in the background a little bit there. But yeah, anyway, I think about that. Yeah, great season for Orlando. Amazing run.
Mhm.
I think this team has tons of potential, super
Yep.
young, and with Bancaro and many of the other pieces, I think that they've got a bright future ahead.
I think they have a terrific future ahead. They have the pieces to go forward, and they've shown that they got grit and they got heart. They're down to fight. But the most important, impressive thing about the Magic for me is that team defense, man. And as they stay together as a core unit, that will only get better.
Yeah, no kidding. Can't wait. Yep. You're wearing the Cobra Kai shirt. I'm wearing actually a Pearl Jam shirt in honor of the band. They're playing two nights this weekend, this week. First concert was Saturday night. Then they had to take part of the stage and everything away so that they could put the ice down so Thatcher Demko could practice and some of the other guys could get some ice time. Put the ice back down, got it ready, and the second concert's tonight. My cousin is taking his daughter. He's pretty excited. I know quite a few people that went and said great things about Saturday night's concert. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic again tonight.
They always put on a good concert. Pearl Jam is one of the best at doing that, and I'm sure every fan is going to be ecstatic and elated once they
Yeah.
see them take the stage.
Yeah, they on Saturday I heard that they played somewhere in the neighborhood of about 7 to 9 songs off their new album, and some people criticized that and said that they didn't really like that because that meant cutting off a lot of their hits and not getting to play all these hits that they've had over the past 30 years. And I find that in concerts when I go, I really just want to hear the hits. I don't mind if they play a couple new songs, but when you're talking 7, 8, 9 off the new album, I think that's not catering to your audience and the people that shelled out a lot of money to be there. I think it's a mistake.
I'd have to agree with you. I like you, and also too, you cut out a segment of your audience, those that were there from the beginning till
Yeah,
now.
right.
So, and why would you want to do that? Why would you want to alienate that part of your fan base? You don't want to do that.
No.
I think you're absolutely right. You cater to what the fans want. Play the hits.
Yeah.
Yes, play some of the new stuff, but for I think the majority of that concert you should be catering to your fans and playing the hits.
Yeah. They've put on phenomenal concerts. I've seen them lots over the years and I've been just blown away by many other performances. One of the guys I work with, Richard, I think you know him actually. He said that he he really loved it. He said he was they usually were just a really just simple band. You would just see their performances, nothing fancy. But he said they had more visuals than he had ever seen, and they put a lot more money into the whole presentation on stage with a lot of stuff to see and visually stunning. So he said he just absolutely loved it, and he said, I should head down to Seattle or Portland or somewhere like that if I have to miss tonight's show. So yeah, so he recommended it.
That's a good recommendation. That's a
Yeah.
good recommendation, especially if you're a big fan of Pearl Jam. You can head down there. You can afford the cost and the travel time and everything else. It's a good idea.
Yeah. Lorray was actually supposed to go to a concert tonight down at the Commodore. A band called Talk was supposed to be playing down there. And all of a sudden, a couple hours ago, they just announced that the concert's off, canceled. He came down with some kind of sickness and couldn't perform. So hopefully he's able to do it very soon, or if not, they're able to get their money back. And I felt disappointed for her. Loved the Commodore as always, and it would have been great for her to go down there and see him and or see that band. And yeah, it was kind of surprising that such a late notice of cancellation.
Sucks. It
Yeah.
happens, and it sucks when it does happen. I just hope that everybody got reimbursed their money for their tickets. I hope that was the thing, and it happened immediately.
Yeah, let's hope. Let's hope. I want to get pretty much right away into the UFC to start with because we're on a limited time tonight, so we can't just go and cover everything. But I just want to make a couple of notes before so we don't totally miss out. Um, Lionel Messi will make his first appearance ever on Canadian soil this Saturday in Montreal. Uh, they are pretty excited, selling out the stadium there, and big anticipation for him finally coming to Canada. He'll be coming here on May 25th for the big game against the Whitecaps. He was absolutely incredibly dynamic on the weekend, setting two huge records for MLS. He ended up getting 1 goal, 5 assists, the most assists ever in an MLS game for one guy, and the most goal contributions in a single game with six. 1 goal, 5 assists. Suarez had 3 of those goals, and Miami routed the New York Red Bulls 6-2. Absolutely amazing. The highlights were just mind blowing. He was just a man amongst boys down there, and I'm hoping, praying that he'll keep healthy for the rest of the month, playing here in Canada on a few occasions, and hopefully he will get his full best here, and we can see some spectacular things like we saw this weekend.
Hopefully, they don't decide to do load management when he comes up here. That would suck. I
Yeah.
hope he actually makes it a point to be able to play
Yeah.
when he comes to this country, since he's never been here and he's never played up here.
Yeah.
I hope he personally makes it a point to try to play if he's healthy. I hope so.
The Canucks ended up wrapping up their series on Friday. They were supposed to have game 7 here on Sunday, so that would have been the biggest local sporting event, but they wrapped it up on Friday, so no games until this Wednesday when they play Edmonton. I'll get into that conversation in a few minutes, but the Whitecaps ended up taking center stage, having the biggest sporting event locally, and they were celebrating their 50th anniversary this for this game. They absolutely crapped the bed. They had the biggest home crowd since they've been in MLS. 32,000 fans, brought in tons of the old alumni and all these great guys that have played with the team over the years. And it was just an absolute brutal game. It was a 0-0 game, no goals, nothing exciting whatsoever. They just put everybody to sleep, and that's the second time they've done that this year. The home opener that we went to, We were so excited, pumped up for a horrible snoozer of a game. And then they did it again to the local fans. Fool me once, fool me twice. Uh-oh. This is not a good thing. And I'm shocked that they played such a stupid style and they didn't really open it up and try to give some fans some electricity. Maybe sign Messi for a day, or I don't know, do something. But brutal 50th anniversary just fell flat, and it's going to be hard to convince many of these fans keep coming back after they do stuff like this to them.
I'm surprised that they didn't employ a more of an aggressive attacking style for this particular game.
Yeah,
just because of what it meant.
do it. Yeah,
It's a 50-year anniversary, and you think that it's like, let's not play cautious.
yeah.
Let's be aggressive. Let's try to take it to this team. And the fact that they didn't, well, I guess, were they always playing for the tie? Awesome.
Yeah, the team they played, Austin, Texas, they just decided that they wanted to come in and just make sure no goals were scored against them. They were kicking the ball into the corners and just standing around, and it was just so mind-numbing and crazy. And yeah, like, even if you lose, just open it up. Even if it becomes a loss, it's better. At least you get some fans to cheer. The Whitecaps did put one goal into the net, but it was immediately waved off because it hit a handball in the box. And so, yeah, just I'm really shocked that they have this ability. They had the attention of the local fan base, and they just really crapped the bed again. And yeah, they're running out of chances with guys like me, other people. I'm sure people were there for the first time in a while, and just they did not give them any entertainment value at all. And it's expensive going downtown, buying your ticket, buying your beers, your food, parking, all the things that you got to pay down there. I don't see a lot of people saying, yeah, I can't wait to go back. I guess maybe they're really lucky Messi's coming in a couple weeks and giving them that boost anyway.
Yeah, that they're very lucky that Messi's coming, because everybody will be like, you know what? That dude just literally scored 6 points in a game. Yeah, I will pay the money to see him, because everything being even, at least he's going to entertain us.
Yeah.
Might not possibly be our team, but at least that guy, I can guarantee he's going to entertain us.
Yeah. I kind of hope they just crush Vancouver and just force them to change and get somebody better, or, change the style. Like, I hope it's like 8-0 or something crazy, and Messi sets another record. Like, I just hope, everybody just loving it. And he just ends up showing them how much superior he is to anybody we got here.
And it would be even better if his post game was just like, this is probably the worst team I've ever played against. Like, I gotta tell you, like, I played against some great players, but this team, wow, felt like I was playing against children. And it looked like
Yeah, exactly. That would be amazing. Yeah. We can only hope, but we'll see if that happens. Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll talk about it a bit more, but yeah, as I mentioned, the Canucks were able to finally get that win on Friday night. That was game 6. Another nail biter. They were able to finally dispatch the Predators, and really tough series, very hard fought. And it's crazy that they can go down to their third stringer and have one of their best players really not contribute very much, have some injury troubles, but still able to knock off the Predators and advance to the second round. Very impressive, and great to see. The city is really getting on board. You're seeing the flags, you're seeing the signs, you're seeing tons of stuff around, and now up against Edmonton, I think the city's going to get even more electric. This is going to be a fun series.
You mentioned something that Tocchet said, that the team needed to rally around the one word: resilience.
Yeah.
And that's what they showed with the Predators. They showed extreme resilience. They showed that we're super resilient because our third string can come in here and he's playoff ready.
Yeah.
No problem. Brazilian. So now they're going to have to show extreme resilience against the Oilers because the Oilers got two of the best players in the NHL.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really hard to try to take those guys out of the equation. And if they can't take them out of the equation, try to take away everybody else.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, Connor McDavid leads the playoffs right now in points. 1 goal, 11 assists in their 5-game series against LA. Draisaitl had 10 points, 5 goals, 5 assists, and dynamic. Their power play is clicking on, just an incredible pace. They scored 9 goals out of 20 opportunities against LA. Canucks have to be very disciplined. That was one great thing about Friday night. Didn't take a penalty, didn't go give Nashville the man advantage. We're able to get a shutout from Seelovs and get that victory. So, yeah, they got to be very disciplined. They got to have everybody playing the best of their abilities, and they got to get some more great goaltending out of Seelovs. That's who everybody thinks is going to start. Rick Tocchet said he's not going to announce it till probably tomorrow or even not till Wednesday, first game. So, but all signs are pointing to Demko still being out and Seeloff already passing to Smith. For the goal, for the confidence, I guess, in Rick Tocchet and trying to start the series well. So, yeah, it's too bad. I was hoping with 2 weeks, Demko would have been healthy, but sounds like not even close yet.
That's too bad. That sucks. But we're extremely lucky and blessed to have our third stringer be able to step up and say,
Yeah.
no problem, got it.
Yeah, yeah, that's so great. Yeah. That first round was just overwhelming. We had 8 playoff series in the NHL, 8 playoff series in the NBA. Every single day and night, I was staying up late, trying my best to put the toothpicks in and try to stop from sleeping. Now we're down to the second round. Both the NHL and the NBA had their game sevens yesterday. Finally, some of the series are started actually into the second round, and now it's a little bit easier to follow, a little bit easier to keep on top of it. There was a few news and notes today. Rick Bowness, the coach of the Winnipeg Jets, has decided to retire from hockey. Almost 40 years in the NHL with, I think he was part of 10 teams altogether in his coaching career. And really one of the really great guys. Loved his time here in Vancouver. Got opportunities to talk to him lots over the years, and he'll be sorely missed. One of the best hockey minds in the world, but him and his family have had some health scares, and he just really wants to retire with his wife and fade off into the sunset with his family. And good for him. I'm really hoping that he has a long post hockey career life, and yeah, all of his contributions will never be forgotten in the NHL.
Absolutely. He's had a fantastic career. And I think it's okay for him to say, I'm going to call it quits after 40 years.
Yeah.
I think it's all right for him
Yeah.
to ride off into the sunset and do what he wants to do.
That's
good
true.
for him.
Yeah, good for him. In Toronto, there's just talk about firing everybody, getting rid of the whole core, blowing this team up. Game 7 loss to Boston, hurt really bad. I was explaining to my cousin Cal the other day how most of North America really hates Boston. And he goes, "Oh, really? Why?" And I said, "Well, they have a football team that kicked everybody's ass for many years, won 6 Super Bowls, and year after year after year, we're kicking everybody. The Boston Celtics basketball team has 17 championships, tied with the Lakers for the most. The Celtics kicked everybody's ass for decades and decades, and Boston Bruins have come in and beat many, many, many organizations in the NHL for a long, long time. And so there's a lot of hatred there for Boston. They have way too many winners, way too much success. You come to cities like this and we've never won anything. So, give us a break here. And Toronto hasn't beat the Bruins in a playoff series for 65 years and counting now. And they broke their heart in Game 7. I think 3-4 times in the last 10 years, and it's just rough there. It sounds like a lot of guys are on the way out, and there's going to be just tons of stories of carnage over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, you knew that was going to happen. Now, here's the funny thing. So this weekend, real quick, it was one of my best friends. It was his father's 80th birthday.
Yeah.
So we're at his sister's place. She had the place catered. It was a beautiful event. So nice. And then one of the uncles says, "Hey, is there any way we can watch the Leafs game?" And then before you know it, somebody puts it on their phone. They mirror it to the TV. We're all watching the Leafs and Boston game. Now, one of the other family members asked me, he goes, "So what do you think?" I go, "I don't think the Leafs are going to win." And he goes, "Why would you say that?" Because do you see this team that they're playing? This is their boogeyman that they haven't defeated for over 60 years. And guess what? It's not going to change tonight. It just isn't. I'm sorry. It was tied. And everybody's like, there was some Leafs fans. They were super excited. I go, I wouldn't get that excited. And then they lost in overtime.
Break their hearts. Yeah. You're already breaking their hearts before it's even finished. Oh, man. Yeah, it creates such a somber atmosphere. As soon as you got a game on, everyone's cheering for one side, and then boom, boom. Yeah, the whole atmosphere kind of dies.
Yeah, no, and then you have to hear me, the wise ass, saying, "What did I tell you? Why did you get your hopes up? I told you they weren't going to win, and that's exactly what happened." Like, I don't understand why you cheer for this team. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
you just like getting your heart ripped out every year, just like, oh, my heart. Oh, my heart. Oh, my. It's been like 20, 30 years now.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know. I do think about that a lot when I see Leafs fans here, and there's tens of thousands of them, and I think you got away from there. Just start cheering for Vancouver or somebody else. You're not there. You don't have to cheer for them anymore. They're gonna break your heart again and again and again and again, and that's not a nice way to have to have every spring end for you this hockey season. You blood, sweat, and tears, and then boom, they just do it again. And yeah, it's crazy. It just seems like they just keep assembling the same type of team. They try their best, shift it, change it just a tiny bit, little tweak, and just same result every single time.
Every single time, man. And I don't know what the recipe is for them to like get over the hump or just get over a period, but it's just they haven't figured it out yet. They haven't figured it out. But this is what I will say. These fans are dedicated to the cause.
Yeah.
Are dedicated. Like, I've never seen any other fans for any other organization besides possibly the Patriots when Tom Brady was there. But that I understood because they never lost. Yeah. But like they're dedicated. And they're like, we love the misery.
Die hard.
Embrace it. Love it.
Yeah. You like in baseball, the Cubs had like 106-year losing streak, and Boston had something crazy like 85 years they hadn't won a championship in. I forget the number, but something insane. And you were like, why would you love the Cubs? They haven't won in 100 years. And Boston was getting up there too. But you gotta appreciate somebody's dedication to their team, the diehard fandom. And I think there's no other team in the NHL that has as many fans and as diehard of fans.
No, I don't think there is either. I don't think there's any other team like them that just has those fans that just go rabid. They just go rabid, but they're willing to live and die with the team, and there's something to be said about that.
Yeah, pretty cool, pretty impressive. Yeah, so Sheldon Keefe's supposedly out the door, new coach, and Brendan Shanahan, longtime president. There was some rumors over the last couple of days that they might just absolutely just get rid of the president's job. They might just say, we don't need a president. We're going to have the GM report directly to the big boss and just get away with this president. Shanahan, after 10 years there, might walk the plank and be no longer wanted. So we'll see. This core four that they have, they're paying like $45 million to. I don't think is the way to go anymore. They're going to probably have to get rid of one or two of them and try to get a lot more depth around throughout the whole organization. And but yeah, we'll see. There are only two Canadian teams left. They're playing each other, the Canucks and the Oilers. Game one goes here in Vancouver on Wednesday, and game two goes Friday. Back to Edmonton for game three Sunday and Tuesday. So every second night, we're going to see the Canucks against the Oilers, and it's going to be a hell of a great series. I'm looking forward to it a ton. You mentioned the Patriots. Patriots came into the news today by releasing Nathan Rourke. Not super surprising because they drafted two quarterbacks in the latest NFL draft, and that meant they had five quarterbacks on the roster. Somebody was going to have to go. I'm glad they're doing it now where he can start getting his agent to connect with the other 31 teams in the NFL, and let's hope he gets a really good opportunity coming up with somebody else.
I hope he gets an opportunity. I think the kid can play.
Yeah.
I really do. And I hope he gets an opportunity with like maybe, I don't know, like one of them bottom teams, like a Carolina or something like that, where he actually could possibly have an opportunity to play.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that a team like that picks him up that needs a quarterback or needs at least a great backup that they can depend on. I think he can fill that role.
Okay, talking about the Patriots, did you see any of the clips, highlights of the roast of Tom Brady from the weekend?
No, I missed it. Missed it. I heard
It
it was on, but I totally missed it.
it is biting, it is ruthless, it is brutal. It has so many unbelievable roasting moments in it. It's one of the best ones I've ever seen. I haven't seen the entire thing, but I've seen most of it. And holy cow, for anybody that knows anything about the Patriots, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick takes a lot of abuse from there. There are just an amazing amount of great moments. I recommend it to anybody. And yeah, I was surprised that he decided to stand for it and let people roast him. They did not hold back. They were very ruthless to him the whole entire time.
I take it back. I did see one. I did see one joke, and it was from Andrew Schultz. And I
Right.
saw it because of what he said about Dana White. Somehow he weaved Dana White into the joke. And it was about him not paying Brazilians, screwing
Right.
them out of money. I thought it was hilarious. Like, I
Yeah.
was just like, oh my God. I don't know how you crafted said joke and said, oh, is that Dana? Good. I'm going to get him now. I'm going to my chance to get him. It was
Yeah.
awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, Dana White had a short appearance there, but he was in the audience and taking a lot of jabs too. And everybody on the stage, anybody they could see in the audience, Kim Kardashian, took a lot of abuse. It was just it was unbelievable and very entertaining. I recommend it to everyone. Give it a watch. Pretty incredible. Okay. The other big story over the weekend was Ryan Garcia. Um, they have said that he's tested positive for steroids after that huge win over Devin Haney. I think everyone was quite shocked by this news. He had acted pretty crazy, and you said that he was doing it to try to get the odds in his favor so he could make a lot of money on a big bet. and all of a sudden, this news came up after such a historic upset. You know, maybe we should have went there in our brains thinking, oh, maybe he's done something to get that kind of result and performance. But I never went there, and I was pretty surprised by the news. And it's really disappointing because this should have been a shining moment for him for years to come, maybe his entire career, and this really puts a big black mark on it.
Huge black mark. Just a massive, massive black mark, because now for him to try to get big fights going forward, there's going to be a ton of stipulations on him. It's like, well, you're going to have to go through testing if you want to fight me, if you want to fight, and then he'll probably have to take less money.
Yeah.
Because that was supposed to be his big win. Now it's been changed to a no contest.
Yeah.
And now people know it's like, you're a cheater. You cheat. And so it's just not a good look. And I think he's cost himself a ton of money for his future earnings.
Yeah. Oscar De La Hoya is trying to throw his full support behind him. This is his guy, and he was really trying to say that this is a this is a lie, and he actually said, Garcia said that he will retire if this isn't he isn't proven innocent, because he said he never took it. So I guess there is a possibility, but he said he's retiring from boxing if this does not his secondary sample doesn't come clean, or he's not able to prove that he was clean. De La Hoya took a lot of abuse as well this weekend. Canelo had a huge victory over the weekend against Mungia, and he took the mic. Mike was put in front of him, talked about an interaction, altercation, I guess he had with De La Hoya, and Canelo really had a lot of very, very negative things to say about Oscar, who they were very closely tied together for so many years, most of Canelo's career.
They don't like each other.
No.
I don't know what necessitated the fallout, but what I feel is that Canelo was probably in the right.
Yeah.
And Oscar was probably in the wrong.
Sure.
Because if there's one thing about Canelo that seems to really show through the TV, he's got honor and integrity through the roof.
Yeah.
I don't know if Oscar really has those two things at the forefront of his being, but I think Canelo does. So I would be more apt to believe what Canelo has to say on his behalf than what Oscar's got to say for his.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you 100%. And Oscar's done a lot of very not great things since his boxing career came to an end, and I would definitely lean towards Canelo. I think Canelo's a pretty straight shooter. Also, the really sad news that the Beterbiev and Bivol fight got canceled or postponed. That was too bad. The world of boxing just really seems to have so many negative stories coming out all the time, and I find it just so difficult to follow this sport as much as I want to, because there's fights that all of a sudden I'm like, oh geez, they didn't promote this very well. This is happening tonight. What the hell? And they all of a sudden a big fight will happen, and it's like, how come I never heard about it when I love boxing and I follow the sport? All the people that don't follow the sport so closely, there's no way they're going to hear about this. You're not going to get the fans to tune in, and it's such a difficult sport to follow and see and watch all these huge fights that happen. There was a lot of big fights this weekend, and they really dropped the ball so often by not promoting it well.
The marketing is sometimes it's just garbage. Yeah. Where you just don't hear it enough, and you're just like, did you want to bury these fights? Like, sometimes I wonder if they want to bury the fights. Weird. So that it doesn't get the proper marketing or exposure that the fight actually needs. I do wonder. And then also too, boxing's been dirty forever.
Yeah.
That's just what boxing is. It's a dirty, dirty game. And it's unfortunate. I'd love it just to be even and fair and there's just no drama, but there's always drama in boxing. Always. Always.
I I watched the fight actually today between Nayo Inoue and Neri, and man, I wanted to watch that live, but just got lost in the shuffle from all the other things that were going on. Um, Inoue took his first, or it was dropped for the first time in his entire career, and came back. Ended up getting 3 knockdowns on Neri. Ended up finishing him in the sixth round. Incredible performance, incredible fight. Shocked the world when he went down in the first round and looked to be in quite a bit of trouble, but a lot of resilience, came back and got a big victory in front of a crowd that was booing him almost the entire time because of some incidents that he's had over the years in Japan. This was in Japan. And the crowd was 100% against him. And he ended up getting the big victory.
That's amazing that he's in his homeland of all places, and he's getting booed mercilessly.
Big time mercilessly.
Mercilessly. So, and it's just like, oh, like it's almost like for him, this is an away game, and I just got to deal with it. I just got to bear down and deal with it, which he did. And he did that because he's a freaking champion.
Yeah.
That's what champions do. It's like, it doesn't, whatever obstacles that you're going to put in front of me, I will overcome them because that's what I do as a champion.
Yeah. It was in the same arena that Buster Douglas ended up beating Mike Tyson back in the day. And they hadn't had a big fight like that since. So the place was filled. I think it was 50,000 fans they had there. And it was pretty awesome fight. I just wish the promotion would have been a lot better. So I could have saw it live and saw the rest of the card. Pretty upsetting. Okay, let's just dive into the UFC card, and then we can talk a little bit about peripheral stuff, fit it in before you have to call it a night. So we had another UFC card. This was UFC 301. We had 300 a few weeks back, and it was just the card of the century. This one was just Brazil focused. I think there was 13 Brazilian fighters on the card. First time in Rio in quite some time. And man, it just made me happy to see how incredible the crowd was, how often they got to cheer super loud because the Brazilian fighters had incredible performances. And that Apex thing was just nowhere to be seen. We were getting, the full the ability for the fans to go out and cheer on their favorite fighters. It reminded me of Vancouver and UFC 289. It was great to see them back in Brazil, and having so much success as well for the Brazilians on this card.
Oh, the Brazilians did well. They really did well in this card, and the most important guy, the headliner, tough fight, man.
Yeah,
I was impressed with what Usyk brought to the table.
Yeah.
What number 10 brought to the champ. All right. Like after this fight, Usyk's got to move up the rankings. I know he didn't win, but man, he's got to move up the rankings after that.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was 2-2 going into round 5. And when winner of the round takes the fight, he just did not have enough in that 5th round. But the judges gave the decision to Pantoja. But you gotta be super impressed with Usyk coming in, very huge underdog, and was able to make a really good fight out of it. I was blown away and very impressed with him, and I think his stock definitely rose after that performance.
If Usyk had been able to those takedowns in the beginning of the fight and not get taken down, because I felt that he had the advantage on the feet.
Yeah.
With his diversity of the strikes, the timing of his strikes, even the speed, cadence of his strikes. Yeah. He would change it up on Pantoja. And you could tell, I don't know how Pantoja does it, but Pantoja was tiring, but he can always fight through it.
Yeah.
Like the guy can always fight through it. And he does those blitzes at times, and they're very strategic whenever he decides to blitz because the takedown.
Yeah.
And a lot of those I think caught Ursig off guard.
Yeah. Um, I think he ended up getting 10 takedowns in the entire fight. To me, that was definitely, what won him the fight. Ursig, yeah, really had a great amount of strikes, blended his striking, was able to um really yeah, just dominate on the feet so often. He was a little bit more of a headhunter than I too much of a headhunter that I wish he would have diversified himself, gave some more body shots, some more leg kicks. I think that would have risen his stock up. I think I think it was the fourth round. I think Pantoja looked super tired, and I
Tired.
thought,
Yes.
that was Urseg's real big opportunity to try to dominate, land some big body shots that would have sucked him, bled him dry, kind of thing, and really maybe turn this fight so he could have won that fifth round as well.
Yeah, but you know what? Some fighters that when they're focused on a body part, they don't see anything else.
Yeah.
Like if he had gone to the body like Aldo did in his fight
Yeah.
at times, we might be looking at a different champion.
Yeah. Pretty incredible. It's the lowest seeded contender for a title fight since Michael Bisping gave Dan Henderson a chance at the belt to avenge a brutal defeat that Bisping had had years earlier. Henderson was number 13 coming in. That was UFC 206, I believe it is, in 2016. And yeah, Dan Henderson did not win that fight, but yeah, that was one of the only reasons why, and it kind of made sense because of Dan Henderson's brutal KO of Bisping earlier in their career, and then finally Bisping gets the belt after so many years, near the top of the division, and then he said, "I want Henderson, give me Henderson, I want to get that loss out of my taste out of my mouth." And he was able to avenge that defeat against an incredible fighter in Henderson, but probably on the very tail end of his career.
Yeah, and also too, of course, he wants to fight Henderson again. The guy made a T-shirt about him. Made a T-shirt called Air Hendo. I'd want to avenge that loss too.
Yeah, yeah. When we talked about Ursig being number 10 and getting the shot, there was a lot of like, hey, what the hell's this? I started looking through Pantoja's opponents and that top 10, and a lot of those guys he had already beat once or even twice, and some of those guys were coming off recent fights, so it was hard to make. I just wish they would have went to a different division and just said, hey, let's find somebody that is a little closer, top 5 fighter. I don't want this to set a precedent, of a guy, getting a title shot. It felt like a real life Rocky moment, and
Yes.
it just had a lot of elements like that to me, and those are cool and everything, but they shouldn't really be getting a chance that early, and that low ranked. I think it can tarnish it a little bit.
You can, and hopefully it's just like a one-off.
Yeah.
Like hopefully they just don't be like, all right, number 10s. Everybody number 10 gets a shot now. Everybody number 10. Like it's a one-off because what you said, because of the scheduling, because of the fact that Pantoja's beat a bunch of the guys in the top 10 already. I get that. I understand that. But at least Ursig proved them right in the way that he fought.
Sure.
He fought him tough.
Yeah, which was great. Yeah. Mentioning Dan Henderson, it makes me want to talk about one of the Brazilian fighters was honored on Saturday night. Shogun Rua will be nominated into the UFC Hall of Fame in June when they have the International Fight Week. They honored him. They showed a great tribute video, showed all his classic, amazing moments. And to me, the best moment for me, watching Shogun in the UFC was him fighting Dan Henderson and having one of the greatest fights of all time. I'll never forget the battle. They had a 5-round war that to me is one of the top 2 or 3 fights in UFC history. And it was kind of cool to see Henderson also in the mix there, talking about this fight and remembering him fighting Bisping and everything. But great to see Shogun getting his just due and getting nominated to the Hall of Fame. This Hall of Fame class is pretty spectacular and will be really fun to see them all getting inducted.
No, it's probably one of the best. Like seriously, it's one of the best. Like and Shogun, yeah, definitely deserving of being in the Hall of Fame. But since they put those fights in, are you trying to tell me that Dan Henderson Shogun Hua fight is not already in the Hall of Fame? Because I don't remember it being in there. And
No,
if
I
it's
don't
not
believe
in
it is.
there,
No, not yet. No.
okay, well, I think it's a no-brainer there, folks.
Yeah.
Got to get that one in there too as well.
Yeah. This is the Hall of Fame people that are going in this year. Vanderlei Silva, Frankie Edgar, and then Shogun Hua. The fight between Anderson Silva and Chael Sonnen,
Yep.
and Joanna Jacek and Beneil Dariush will get honored for being the what is it called? The Community Award of the Year, the Forrest Griffin Award. He'll get honored. So yeah, pretty incredible class, and I can't wait to see that. It's going to be super fun to watch. I saw Alex Pereira in the crowd, and over the weekend, John Jones is really trying to amp up having a fight between him and Alex Pereira. He said, "I'm going to beat Stipe, and then I want Alex next." I think that would be the super fight to end all super fights. It'll be the highest grossing fight in the history of the UFC, and I don't think he's wrong. He's wrong about a lot of things, but I think this might be the fight of the century if they can make that happen.
Yeah, I'd love to see it, but Bones needs to stay out of trouble for it to happen.
Yeah.
And if he stays out of trouble, it's going to happen like that. It's going to be exactly the way that he said it's going to happen. Like it's going to be the highest grossing thing. Forget Conor McGregor, rear view mirror. That would be it.
Yeah.
That would be it. And since the UFC, I think they love money, they're going to have to make that fight. But the first things first, Bones got to beat Stipe, and then he's got to stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
That's
it. He sure doesn't know how to stay out of trouble, that's for sure. Okay, we're talking about the Hall of Fame there. We had a guy that just came out of retirement that's already in the Hall of Fame, Jose Aldo. You mentioned him briefly. The King of Rio gets returned, gets to come back and have this send-off fight. And I was a little bit, when we did the preview last week, I was a little bit like, okay, pretty tough opponent, Jonathan Martinez, against a guy who's been retired out of the game for a couple years, took up boxing and wasn't MMA focused anymore. I thought this could end ugly. And you said, no, hang on. I think actually Aldo's going to be pretty damn impressive. And I think he's going to give him his money's worth. And look out for Aldo. And Nostradamus Cameron again. You were able to, you were right. And what a performance. I was very impressed and blown away how great he looked, how fast he looked, how on point he was the entire fight. And wow, what a huge win. And he gets to talk contract again and maybe extend another bit of his career in the UFC.
Vintage.
Yeah.
It was vintage Aldo. Like I'm looking at it and I'm like thinking to myself, did he go away? Did he actually step away? He looked absolutely incredible.
Amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Like Martinez is known for his leg kicks. Pretty much negated all of that.
Yeah.
Checked him a couple times, and Martinez like, I guess I can't throw this anymore. And that was it. Like it was just like, and he picked him apart with this. His boxing was so good.
Wow.
Way that he'd pivot off the spot,
Exactly.
bob and weave, and especially the fact that he went to the body with his punches. Like some of his body blows were just super impressed. Like, he was just impressive. He
Yeah.
was impressive. And yes, I did call it. I did call it. I did
Yeah.
say that we'd see vintage Aldo, and it was just a pleasure to watch. It really
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. That last fight against Marab Duvashvili back in August of 2022, I didn't like what I saw, and I thought, okay, as they say, Father Time is undefeated, and he seemed to just be past his prime and maybe just not able to deliver it anymore. Had a 3-fight win streak going into that fight, but Marab really dominated him, and I thought, okay, maybe these younger guys, are just too much for a guy getting into his later 30s. And all of a sudden, boom, he retires. And I think, okay, maybe a smart move. Good for him. Goes and gets some big money for some boxing fights. And, we've seen a lot of MMA guys doing that now. And not going back to MMA because they're making too much money boxing. So I thought, okay, when they made that announcement that he was coming back, I'm like, okay, nice to have a farewell fight that he could win, maybe. But then when I saw Martinez, I thought, oh damn, really tough. And but yeah, he just showed he's still got it, super superior boxing skills, and to me, one of the best boxers in MMA, hands down. Incredible way he was utilizing his body shots. He used his hook really well. He's used his jab perfectly. Combos, movement, just every element just looked on point and looked like he was still in his prime. And he's 37 years old. Been through so many wars. But yeah, great to see. Father Time is not undefeated when it comes to Jose Aldo at this moment in his career.
Yeah, man. Like, he looked like the faster fighter,
Yeah.
and he's so much older than the other guy.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh man, this is just nice to see.
Yeah.
Nice to see him go out the way that he wanted to go out. Because let's be honest, Davishvili is a monster. He's a monster. Like, the man is a monster. He is
Right.
one of the best fighters in that division, if not the planet. All right. The man is a monster.
Yeah.
And so with Aldo, yeah, he's not in his prime, but he's still really good.
Yeah.
And he just wanted to make sure that people understood, no, I'm still really good. That guy's a monster. He's something else.
Yeah.
I'm still really good. And he was able to beat Martinez.
I love it. Yeah, it was great. That snapped Martinez's 6-fight win streak. Aldo's now won 4 of his last 5. And I bet you dollars to donuts that they have signed a new 3-fight contract for Jose, and we will see him very soon back in the octagon. The light heavyweight fight between Anthony Lionheart Smith and Vitor Petrino. I was a little worried for Anthony, to be honest. There's another veteran guy that's been in there for many years, as a incredible UFC career, but starting to get a little long in the tooth, starting to look like maybe he can't compete with some of these huge lions that come up. And we see this Vitor come in, physical specimen, like, whoa, the guy looks tough, mean, and incredible, and just doesn't look like you want to tangle with a guy like this. You don't want to get hit by him. You don't want to be in the cage with him. And Lionheart says, no, I can beat this guy. I can do this. And he proved it. He showed it. And he used his veteran savvy and got an amazing victory. I was blown away and impressed. And I love it. It's great to see these veterans coming in and still showing that there's levels to this game and dispatching some of these young lions that are trying to come in and take them off.
That's exactly what he said. There's levels to this game. There's levels to this game. Basically say, yeah, I realize that he's a scary human being. Like, literally, not just a superior athlete, but a superior human being. When he walks into the cage, you're like, oh man, I don't know, buddy. I don't know if you want any of that. Yeah. But Lionheart had a great game plan. Take away that base, throw those leg kicks. And then when he shot in, he took the opportunity to say, oh, you're hanging your neck out there, son. Can't do that. Can't do that. wrapped up that guillotine choke tight. Trino did slam it to the ground, but it was too late. It
Yeah.
was already far too late.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. Incredible. Incredible. He was able to get that, sunk it in, and force the tap. The tap happened. The referee didn't notice it
Yeah.
and came in a little closer, and then he had to tap again to stop it from happening because he was going out.
Yeah.
And yeah, he'd made a big mistake there, and with Smith just sinking it in and getting that tap. Incredible. I loved it. Great to see. And yeah, I can't believe Lionheart, all the incredible fights. I look back, he had that opportunity against John Jones back in March of 2019, UFC 235, and he's just been in with young killers ever since, and still going strong. And yeah, nice to see. He's been ranked for almost 6 full years. That his was his 22nd UFC fight, and I when he said some of the things he said levels to this game, I thought, yeah, we'll see. You get hit with one of these guys' shots, and you're going to sleep real quick. He was able to avoid it and get the win.
Yeah. That was the thing that he was obviously the most worried about. Is like, can't get hit with one of this guy's big shots. I can't get hit with the Trino big shot, or I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
Look at what the man looks like. Of course, he's going to go to sleep. So you can't just get hit with one of those shots. And he was able to avoid all that and put him to sleep almost.
Yeah. Okay, the Michelle Pereira Ihor Pataria fight, while it lasted, looked all right. And then all of a sudden, bam, Pereira landed a shot and jumped in, got a also got another choke, and wham, standing guillotine choke was in super deep, and this fight was over quick. We saw him lose to Tristan Connolly locally here, and he utilized all that crazy flipping and stuff, and that almost cost him in this fight.
Yes,
He flipped up and landed his knee to the side of his face, and the referee, the commission, everybody met on the side of the cage after the fight was over and started talking about it. Like, what are we going to do about this? It was close to getting a disqualification, and he didn't need to do something crazy like this because he was going to get the win. And he's spectacular, but he definitely has caused himself some issues in his fighting career because of the flips and jumps and weird stuff that he does, at times in the cage and outside the cage.
You know what? He did it so quick that it just seemed like seemed like the next natural reaction for him to do. As he dropped him with like the blitz, I think the left and right, drops him, and then he immediately went to the backflip, like immediately. Now, I don't think they gave it a no contest because of what the ref said immediately after. Like I think because of what the ref did and said, choked him out, gave him the finish, and it was official. It's kind of hard to backtrack that and say, no, now it's a no contest. Right. Because the illegal strike that he did not count, because I don't think the ref even noticed it or saw it.
Right.
So now it's hard to backtrack that, right? So he got extremely lucky. So hopefully his coaches say, cool, I love the backflip. Not really, because it almost cost you the fight.
Yeah.
So maybe we should be taking that out of your game, out of your package, because if it's going to cost you fights and cost you money, then it's not worth it. It
isn't. He's now has 8 wins in a row, and is really looking better and better all the time. This is it. This is the weight class for him, and I think he really can start moving up, getting ranked very, very soon. He got 50K as one of the bonuses, and he said he's giving almost all of that money to the flood victims. A few of the fighters mentioned that after their fights, that one of the regions in Brazil was ravaged with some floods, and a lot of people have lost their homes and lost their lives, and a lot of tough things have happened. So nice of him to take that 50K and hand it over to the victims of the floods.
No, that's fantastic. That's great that the fighters understand the severity of the situation and they're willing to help. They're willing to put a hand out and give their hard-earned money to help the people.
Okay. We have one of your favorite fighters, one of my favorite fighters in the first fight on the main card, Paul Craig, the Demon from Scotland. 100% finish rate for Paul Craig in his career. Bear Jew, super tough and crazy. Do not want to get into a grappling fight with this guy. Fights against Caio Barrio, and he is 5-0 in the UFC coming in. 15-1 in his UFC career. Damian Maya is his main training partner in the Fighting Nerds gym. And wow, Barrio, it looked phenomenal. Absolutely landed some staggering shots to Paul Craig, dropped him, completely knocked him out severely. Just massive shots. When this guy lands shots like that, nobody's standing anymore. And this was a spectacular KO from him too.
Spectacular KO. Landed some big shots on Paul Craig too in round one. Paul Craig showed he has a chin. He has a chin, but you can't just keep taking shots like that to the chin. And I love the fact that they had a great game plan, which was Paul Craig will invite you to come down to the mat. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. And Baralo's just like, nope, not doing it. I'm not playing your game. He played to his advantage. He stuck to his feet, and that's how he won the fight.
Yeah.
And when he knocked him out, I think he ravaged him with the right, and then he followed it up with the left.
Yeah.
And folded him like a lawn chair. And he knew. I think he knew as soon as he hit him. I'm like, oh, that was crisp. That was nice. And he just walked away
that
because
left was just devastating and just dropped him down. 15 15 fights, 15 wins in a row, 6-0 in the UFC. And he called out Jared Cannonier, which is Cannonier's fourth in the division. Barrio's 13th now, so maybe a little bit higher shooting. I kind of think that maybe it's Jack Hermanson, who's 10. Roman Delice is 9. Imavov 8. That's a little high. Or maybe they do Brazil against Brazil with Paulo Costa, number 7. Kamjat Chimaev is number 11. He's already fighting Whitaker's coming up soon. Number 12 is Fluffy Hernandez. Maybe that's not enough of a jump up. So either Costa, Imavov, Delice, or Jack Hermanson next on the cards for him.
Yeah, I think that's a proper advancement for who he should fight next. Cannoniers, he's earned that spot for a reason. So, and I think it's a cool reach. I like it because, like, he's feeling himself. But yeah, I don't think the matchmakers are going to go for it.
No, doubtful. Okay, prelim feature fight on the prelim card had Jack Shore from Wales against Joe Anderson Brito from Brazil, and this was this was brutal.
Had some controversy.
Yeah, Joe Anderson Brito was just landing some devastating calf kicks and leg kicks, just constantly just throwing them just with reckless abandon. And he ended up landing one finally on the shin that just seemed to immediately open up a pretty severe cut. It was pretty brutal when they decided to take a look at it, and you see the doctor putting his finger and just sort of jamming it in there and
wiggling
reaching around trying to feel bone and whatever's going on. I'm like, hey man, like don't do that to the guy, like Jesus. And then they said, no, fight's over. This is done. And I felt bad for sure. Brito, though, yeah, he just had a game plan. He's gonna just chop that leg, take it away from him. And yeah, it probably wasn't going to last too much longer because he just was really taking Shore's leg right out of commission, and yeah, you could tell that that was wearing him down, and yeah, a bit of a controversial finish, but it was probably inevitable.
He was a woodcutter,
Yeah,
and he was dedicated to cutting down that lead leg of Shores. And I thought from what the blood looked like, I thought they were stopping the fight. Like I honestly thought this until they cleaned it up, and I was like, oh, that's actually not that bad.
yeah,
I thought it had split down his shin.
yeah,
Like I thought the cut had split down.
yeah,
Now, if it had split down vertically like that, I'm like, oh yeah, then you definitely got to stop the fight.
yeah,
That's what I thought had happened.
yeah,
But then when they cleared away the blood, I'm like, oh, that's just a little thing. That's not that bad. But
yeah,
I don't know why that. I have no idea what the doctor was digging his finger in there, going, "Let me open it up a little bit more, so I
yeah,
can really see what's going on." Like, what are you doing? What are you
yeah.
doing?
Yeah, that one shot that they showed later on with almost all the blood over,
Yeah,
the cut actually looked kind of
yeah,
small. At some
yeah,
point, it looked pretty deep and long, and I thought,
yeah.
okay, like, whoa, that looks pretty bad. But then when you saw it cleaned up, I was
No,
like, okay. But
that's not.
yeah, I was seeing the doctor doing that, and I'm thinking,
Yeah,
man, like, I'd be pissed off. Like, don't be sticking your goddamn finger in my leg here, buddy. Like,
yeah.
just because you're a ringside doctor doesn't mean you can penetrate me, buddy. Like, what the hell? Pretty bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty bad, and that's pretty good language that you use there. Penetrate. Yeah, can't do that. Please stop.
No. Well, that gives Brito the second longest active finish streak at 5. Shavkat Rachmanov has 6 most finishes in a row in the division. And he called out Dan 50K Ige, which seems like a pretty awesome call out.
Yep.
Ige also higher ranked, much higher ranked. So shoot for the moon, but maybe not him. But I think
Mhm.
some, great competition is coming for Brito.
I think there's fantastic competition coming for Prito, and he showed that he's one of the best in that division, and he is willing to attack you and keep attacking you relentlessly.
Yeah.
He's an action fighter, and I definitely want to see him fight again.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the women's strawweight fight. This was a one-sided affair, I thought.
Yep.
We talked about the veterans winning on the main card. This was a veteran coming in against a youngster. This was the largest age gap I think they said they've ever had in women's MMA history. I think they were saying might be just the division or the whole entire women's fighting, but 22 years old against 38 years old, 16. Longest ever age gap or largest ever age gap I hear. And you could tell that Kovalevich never been super fast, super tough, but never been super fast. Yasmin Lucindo was the faster, more powerful. Everything about her was more dominant, and she got an easy victory in my mind.
Everything about her just screamed youth. I'm the
Yeah.
more youthful fighter, and I'm just gonna take it to you.
Yeah.
Like foot speed was better, footwork was better, hand speed was better. Like I think Kovacevic was just trying to always kind of catch up to her,
Yeah.
and she never could. Like
No.
she literally never could. And yeah, it to me after watching this fight, I'm like, this was actually kind of an easy work for her,
Yeah.
for Lucindo.
Yeah. Yeah. The sky's the limit for her. She came off the Dana White Contender Series, only 22 years old, youngest on the card. And I think, yeah, I see a very bright future. Kovacevic has had a phenomenal career and fought a lot of super tough opponents. But yeah, the edge definitely easily went to Lucindo and got the victory. Um, the lightweight fight. Okay, this guy's name is Mick Tibek Olabai.
Bye.
Uh, man, he is one tough SOB and was able. This was a heck of a good fight. I really
Yes.
enjoyed watching it, and Orlobai is yeah, a very tough guy. Was able to get the victory. There was a little bit of a controversy because he grabbed the fence at one point, got the
Yep.
immediate point taken away, and if he doesn't win that last round, we got probably a draw. But he was able to just secure that round at the very end with a
Very end, but
knockdown.
knocked out.
Like, yeah, 10, 15 seconds left. Was able
Yeah.
to turn this into from a draw into a victory.
Yeah, and he got lucky, man. He got lucky. I was surprised at how immediate the 1 point was taken away.
Yeah.
I don't think
Usually
I've
they
ever
don't
seen.
do it just like that, and didn't
Yeah,
even stop the fight or
no,
anything. Just pointed to the ceiling, just pointed around. 1 point's gone, and usually you don't see the referees do it like that.
no, and I was just like, can they do it like I didn't even like I was kind of shocked because I'm like, usually they stop the fight and they say 1 point taken away, but he's like, no, you guys keep fighting, just so you know, you lost the point. By the way,
Yeah,
you're an idiot, right?
yeah,
And now when I think about it, though, I kind of liked it.
yeah,
I kind of liked it because
yeah,
he's like, I'm not going to interrupt the action, but I'm going to let both fighters know that I'm going to take a point away. Now, Orovai, I thought he had the first half of this fight was
yeah,
a superior grappling, and then Brenner took advantage because I think Orovai started to slow down because he was tired,
yeah,
and then Brenner started taking advantage of the fight. So it was great fight,
yeah,
loved it, and Orovai pulls it out at the end with
yeah,
that last second knockdown in the
yeah,
third, and
yeah.
that's how
That
it went.
was, yeah, definitely was able to get it, pull it off right at the very, very end, and just yeah, got the knockdown, got the victory. Okay. Um, this is another fight with a physical specimen. Joaquin Silva is one big, massive looking lightweight, and holy crap, this guy's got muscles on muscles. And at that weight class, you don't think you're gonna see somebody that massive. He came in against Jakar Close, and Close has had a really great career, but derailed by a lot of injuries, a lot of inactivity. Has not really had as many fights as he should have had over the years that he's been around the UFC. But to me, this was one of his best performances. Pulled out a decision victory. Got 2 rounds to 1 on all 3 scorecards. Got the unanimous decision. Got his 4th victory in a row against a super tough guy. And I was very impressed with Close and how he was able to pull off the win.
Yeah, they had a good strategy, which was win the grappling along the fence.
Yeah.
That's what basically that's how Close won this fight. He won the grappling along the fence. He made it uncomfortable for Silva to progress through this fight by sticking close to him and by not giving him a lot of airspace to throw his strikes.
Yeah.
Close did that throughout the majority of this fight, and that's how he won the fight.
Close came very close to blowing it when he had Silva had the guillotine wrapped around him, and he decided
Oh,
to
do
throw
the
him back
slam.
and slam him down. He's very lucky he got out of that, because usually when you do a slam down, it actually can sink it in a lot tighter and
Yeah,
deeper. And I guess he was thinking, okay, if I bend forward and I can slam him back, I might be able to knock him out or
knock him
knock
out.
him off. And he's very lucky on that one. But other than that, yeah, he was able to utilize his grappling style and get the victory. I was very impressed against a very, very, very tough opponent.
Yeah. Very
Um,
tough opponent. Very
yeah,
tough opponent. Sure.
yeah. He called out Beneil Dariush, who he lost to a couple years back, and Jalen Turner were the 2 main guys that he wanted to see next. So we'll see what the UFC does to that. Um, we both didn't see the early prelims, but Mauricio Ruffy knocked out Jamie Malarkey. He got 50K for that KO.
Mhm.
And Alessandro Costa was able to get the knockout of Kevin Borjan, and he got 50K for his KO as well. There was a couple of decisions on that card, on that early prelims, but the 2 knockouts both got 50K. And I honestly was watching the Alessandro Costa fight just before we started. I thought I might be able to get to see the KO, and we started 2 minutes too early, I guess. I never did get to see it, but can't wait to see it. And it's crazy. Not often on the early prelims you're getting two performance bonuses of the night.
No, that doesn't happen too often, but maybe it should happen a little bit more often, to be honest with you, because those guys are not the ones that are making the cash yet.
Yeah,
And
true.
so for them to make the 50,000, that's a very big deal. Very, very big deal.
That's true. Okay, quickly we will preview next week's card out of Houston, Texas. We've got the main card starting early, 4 o'clock Pacific time, and the prelim starting at 1 o'clock Pacific time. This is the heavyweight main event between Derek Lewis and Rodrigo Nascimento. Nascimento comes in only one loss on his record. Derek Lewis, the most prolific knockout artist in the UFC history, and should be a banger. I definitely don't see this going to the scorecards.
I don't think this is going to the scorecards. If Derek Lewis can keep this on his feet, I think he'll knock out Nascimento. But if Nascimento is able to ground Derek Lewis over and over again in this fight, I think he's going to win this fight.
Yeah. Lots of good fights on the card. I love seeing Joaquin Buckley fight Alonzo Menafield, two super tough guys. Alex Bruce Leroy Caceres against Sean Woodson should be fun. Also, the heavyweight fight to kick off the main card has Waldo Cortez Acosta against Robelis Despaigne. And you remember we just saw him get the huge KO in 18 seconds over Josh Parisian last month. No, actually early March. And holy cow, that was spectacular. And he's got 5 KOs. I think they've all lasted about 20, 30 seconds. Some of them not even that. And that was, yeah, that showed we got some incredible guy coming up. And I think this one won't go to the judges' scorecards either.
I don't think it's going to go to the judges' scorecards. I think Cortez Acosta is going to have to be super aware of the power that's going to be thrown at him consistently throughout the course of this fight. He's going to have to be very smart with how he's going to attack Despaigne, because if he gets hit with one of those shots, night.
Yeah.
Night.
The feature fight on the prelim has Chase Hooper against Slava Claus, Vyacheslav Borshev. That fight should be good. Chase Hooper's been around for a few years. Super baby face, but I think he's a guy that will have a very, very good MMA career, and that should be a fun fight.
No, I think that'll be a great fight. Styles make fights, and I like that fight. I like that fight as the main card for the prelims. And I also like the fight right below it, Terrence McKinney versus Esteban Ribovics. Yeah. I probably messed that last name up. But anyways, I like that fight too as well.
Me too, yeah. I love T-Rex, and he brings a lot of great things to the cage. The women's strawweight fight, I think this is a very good style matchup. We get Tisha Torres Pennington now, the little tornado against the baby shark Tabitha Ricci. Two really short little girls that really bring it, both super tough. I think this will be a hell of a fight. I don't usually look forward to too many women's fights, but that one should be a good one.
No, that should be a great fight. That should be a great tilt. And like you said, they both like to bring it. They're both there to bang.
Yeah. So that'll be awesome. Can't wait. Glad it's an early card. It'll be fun to check out. Okay, let's just cover some NBA. We had the last game of the first round yesterday between Cleveland and Orlando. The only game 7 of that first round, and as I mentioned, all 7 games were won by the home team. One game. Cleveland won one more game than Orlando did over the regular season, got that 4 seeds, got that home court advantage. used it to the best of their ability, blew out Orlando in the first 2 games. Orlando comes back and wins the next 2. Cleveland wins, Orlando wins, and then game 7, you finally had it. And wow, very impressive performance by the 2 superstars on both teams. And Cleveland was able to finally get the victory and get the win, move on to the second round.
Yeah, they were able to outlast the Magic. They were just able to outlast them. The Magic were right there, but hey, Mitchell came to the rescue for the Cavs, got it done for them. Moving on.
Mitchell, what a game. Mobley chipped in with 11 points and 16 boards. Mitchell had 39 points, and Karis LeVert 15 points off the bench. But now they get mighty Boston for their troubles. Could be difficult to say the least. And kudos definitely to Orlando. Great season, I thought. And yeah, we got to give them a lot of props for what they did. And yeah, Boston now seems like the dominant team. I think they should probably dispatch Cleveland quite soon or quite early, and especially with Jarrett Allen still hurt. If he doesn't play much in the early part of the series, I think Boston could dominate and win this series pretty early.
Yes. I think though Boston will possibly miss Porzingis for the first game or second game because he's also injured.
Right.
But that shouldn't affect them that much because Boston is still awesome.
Yeah.
They're still really, really good. So I think
they performed they performed well without Porzingis this year as well too. They figured out how to win without him. So
exactly, man. So I don't think Boston's gonna have any troubles with the Cavs.
No. The other Eastern Conference matchup has the number 2 seed Knicks going crazy. The New York fans are going crazy. They have the visiting Indiana Pacers coming in. Game 1 was earlier, and you said it was an absolutely phenomenal first game.
Absolutely phenomenal. Like the game was, I'm not going to ruin it for you because you still got to watch it, but the game was so good. Like it was so good because again, like the Knicks actually play more of a slow down style compared to the Pacers up tempo style. But guess what? This is what I will tell you. The Knicks went up tempo and they did well with it. Wow. They did real well. They matched the pacing of the Pacers. Amazing. Because they just didn't want the Pacers to run away with the game or to outpace them in any way, shape, or form. And the fact that they were able to do that and that their guys did not, from what I saw, get tired. They really didn't. They're supremely in shape, the Knicks players.
Wow.
In supreme shape. I was impressed, man. I was impressed.
I think the best player in the entire series is Jalen Brunson, and I think that gives the Knicks a bit of an edge. And I suspect that the Knicks are going to be able to win this series because Jalen is just out of his mind, scoring 40 points every game, and just really just showing how dominant he is, becoming one of the best players in the league.
Definitely becoming one of the best players in the league. And I love to bring this up every time we talk about Brunson, which is, thank God the Mavericks got rid of him. Thank God that they decided not to pay that man because definitely not deserving. Definitely not deserving of the money.
Yeah, that's hilarious every time. Okay, turn to the West. We got the number 1 seed OKC Thunder facing the number 5 seed Dallas Mavericks. Mavericks were finally able to dispatch the LA Clippers and send them packing. Game 1 goes tomorrow, 6:30 Pacific tip-off time, 9:30 Eastern time. This one's going to be crazy. I'm looking forward to this actually quite a bit. I think OKC has what it takes, but they still have that inexperience, and possibly that could harm them. Mavericks are playing really, really well right now, and have a lot of length, have the 2 dynamic guards there. What do you think we're going to see in this one?
I think it's going to be a very close series. I think OKC is definitely ahead of schedule, but I think they're also ascending because they were able to easily dispatch the Zion-less Pelicans.
Sure.
Easy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now they're dealing with the Mavericks, and they're dealing with two superstars that are on a roll.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see how they deal with that, but I think this is going to be a very, very close fought series.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it too. The other conference semifinal has the number 2 Denver hosting the number 3 Minnesota. T-Wolves first game looked great. I was pretty blown away. Game 2 just tipped off a few minutes ago for us, or a little bit earlier actually in the night. Game 1, a huge 106-99 win for Minnesota. Naz Reid was great. Ant-Man, though, I think he's probably the best player in the playoffs, and looking more dominant as the months go by, weeks go by. What a massive game, 43 points from him. And you sent me a hilarious Instagram post where it had half of his face superimposed with Jordan's face and saying maybe Ant-Man is actually one of Jordan's offsprings. And it makes a lot of sense because we haven't seen a guy this dominant since Jordan, maybe. And holy cow, this guy is scary good.
Oh, he's scary good. And I sent it because he's playing like Jordan. He's playing that well. Like
Yeah.
he's ascending, and you think at 22 he's a tad early, or he's like a lot of years early, because
Yeah.
he's playing like he's a savvy 27-year-old.
Yeah.
Like he's already coming into his own. So you could possibly argue, is he already ready to make the leap to go for it?
Yeah.
And possibly he is.
Yeah.
I remember a point in time where we looked at this team and said, how does Rudy Gobert match up with this team? How does it even make any sense? Oh, I guess it does make sense if Ant-Man just becomes the guy.
Yeah.
Then everything revolves around him. Then it does make sense.
Yeah.
So somebody really smart in the organization of the Timberwolves goes, no, you guys have no idea what you're talking about, but we know what we have.
Yeah.
It'll all work out.
Well, I guess when you look at Denver or teams like this and you think, okay, what are we going to do? How are we going to shut them down? We got the
No.
best player in the NBA 2 out of the last 3 seasons. Won MVP of the playoffs last year, got Denver their title. Maybe we can throw 3 big bodies at him constantly and just constantly disrupt them, throw the bodies at him, get fouls, and just try to contain him. For Joker, he had great numbers, but not compared to what he can bring to the table. And I think it's a very unique, crazy way of going about it. But they seem to maybe have the elixir and the way of defeating the Nuggets.
I think they do. 32 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists for Joker in that game.
Yeah.
Still really awesome.
Great
But
numbers.
here's the thing about the Timberwolves. They have superior defense. They got pretty much the best defense in the NBA in the league. And it's jumped up a level now in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So whatever they were, whatever kind of monster they were in the regular season, it's gotten that much worse.
Yeah.
And so now everybody else besides Joker has to be careful with the ball, or else they're just going to turn it over. They're going to pick it off. They're going to deflect it. That's what the Timberwolves are very good at.
Yeah.
And so now Joker actually has to depend on his teammates to take care of the basketball, or else they're just going to keep turning it over. And then fast break, Timberwolves are going to get easy scores.
Yeah. Last year, the Timberwolves had some immaturity, had some issues. Rudy Gobert ended up getting into a bit of a fight with one of his teammates on the side of the court.
Jaden McDaniels.
Jaden McDaniels punched a wall, broke his hand, and they weren't ready, and the immaturity derailed them. I think this year McDaniels is just one of the best defensive players in the league. You got Rudy Gobert in the middle, who wins Defensive Player of the year after year after year. And it's going to be a tall task, especially with Jamal Murray. Definitely not 100%. There was talk about him maybe being questionable coming into tonight's game. Had a calf injury and maybe not being able to play. Gobert was also questionable going into tonight too, because he just had his first child, I think yesterday, and so there was a possibility of him not making it back for the game. But yeah, I'm not looking yet. I kind of just want to see this in its entirety. But yeah, if Minnesota can win these first two games in Denver, look out. They might just be able to knock off the former champs.
I'm just gonna say quick update. I'm just gonna verify that part. Gobert did not make it with the team.
Okay.
He stayed at home with his lovely wife and their newborn child.
Okay. All right. And Murray? Did Murray play?
And Murray did play. He
Okay.
played with the left calf strain, but he did play. He made a go of it.
Okay. All right. Good. Okay. I did want to ask you if you heard who won the F1.
No, no, but I could guess.
No, he didn't win. Max Verstappen didn't win this week. Lando Norris from the McLaren team ended up getting his first ever Grand Prix victory, 110th start in F1, and he was able to finally break through. Really great story. Everybody seemed thrilled. Actually, even Max Verstappen seemed really thrilled that Lando first got his first victory. He said, it sucks not winning, but to finish second to that guy, I feel still pretty damn happy. And it was really, yeah, amazing to see. And I think it injected a bit of life into the Miami Grand Prix and made it pretty fun. They made 10 changes to the car heading into this weekend's racing. And about a little more than halfway through, there was a incident between a couple of drivers. There was a safety car. Norris ducked into the pit lane at the time, was able to get a pit stop done. That usually if you're doing it under a safety car, it's about half as length of time as the other racers. Was able to come out of the pit lane, be just ahead of Max Verstappen, and then he extended his lead to 7 seconds at one point and ended up really dominating the last half of the race. And it was fun to watch. Incredible race. I loved it a lot.
Oh, that's amazing. Feel good for McLaren actually getting a win. I honestly thought you were gonna say Verstappen didn't drive in that particular race because he was sick. That's what I thought was gonna happen. It's like, oh no, he was sick. He flew. He had the flu.
Yeah, you would have thought so. Hey, him
Yeah.
losing like he never does. So it was fun. Okay, golf quickly. The CJ Cup from the Byron Nelson tournament happened over the weekend from McKinney, Texas, and Canadian Pendrith Taylor got his first career win. It was his 74th start, and it was fun to watch. Wow, was it fun to watch? He came in with a one-shot lead, ended up giving it up about halfway through, battled it down to the end. They came up the 18th hole. He was down one shot. It's a par 5, and not one single player had got worse than par on that hole in the entire day. The leader ends up getting a bogey. Pendrith Taylor hits a birdie, wins the tournament, and gets his first ever victory. It was awesome. Canada celebrated like crazy, and this gives him exemptions. It's going to make him probably a good $5-6 million from just getting this victory. It was incredible.
Great day for Canada. Great day for him. Like that is just fantastic news, and it's fantastic to hear that he hit his biggest shot when he needed to, and then the leader fell apart when also he needed him to do that as well.
Yeah,
so that's
turned out incredible. Super fun. Also, 16-year-old Chris Kim got entered into the tournament, made the cut. First, youngest player to make the cut in 10 years, and incredible performance by him. Absolutely amazing to see such a young kid be able to get into there, play against the pros. His mother was an LPGA star back in the day, and she was the first Korean woman to ever make it onto the LPGA. she's his main teacher and has been able to give her wisdom to get him into the pros.
Well, she's obviously doing a good job for her son. So bravo, Miss Kim. And that kid's got a bright future. That kid's got an incredibly bright future. If he's 16, he's already making the cut.
It's
Nice.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. Live Golf had a great tournament over the weekend in Singapore. Holy crap, was it hot. The guys were just sweating out of their shirt. They said the humidity was at the absolute maximum that it could be. They were dying. Brooks Koepka ended up getting the victory, got the win over Cameron Smith and Mark Leishman, the Aussies. The Aussies did win the team title, and we're pretty excited. Some pretty cool news came out of Live. They plan to buy actually a whole bunch of golf courses and make them, each team have their own home course like they would in sports. Canucks with Rogers Arena, you come into our place, this is our house, and they plan to buy a whole bunch of courses around and try to have every single team have their own home course that they'll welcome the opposition into, which seems pretty neat.
That is actually a very cool out of the box idea.
Yeah.
That's actually a fantastic idea. And it's cool that they're doing it because guess what? They got the money to like literally do anything they want. So yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And the final golf story, Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods have put together this virtual golf league, and that's going to be starting in early January. They finally got their sixth team put together. There's going to be six teams in the league, and this latest team is called the Bay Area team. It has world number 3, Wyndham Clark; world number 6, Ludwig Aberg; Shane Lowry, and Minwoo Lee. And the Bay Area team is co-owned by Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Iguodala, and F1 star Alex Albon, amongst some others. And you're going to see Steph there cheering on his team in this virtual golf league. It's going to be pretty wild to watch this, see this come together.
That's cool. That's cool. It's just something new, and I look forward to seeing how it all pans out because it's a very interesting thing that they're trying to do there. Very interesting.
Yeah. Okay, we've hit the witching hour. It's time to call it a night. I appreciate you, and hope you have a really great week ahead. And I get to see you Friday, so we'll be able to talk some sports then.
Yeah, no, man. I look forward to it. I appreciate you because without you, I'm not there. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And we will see you on Friday. And you have yourself a great night.
Okay, you too, bud. Thanks so much. All right, bye for now.
No.
Okay, well, another fantastic episode. That was fun. I'm glad we could pull that off and get it in time. He had some pre-arranging things, so yeah, that I think we've covered it all. As usual, we were able to fit it in a little less than 2 hours this time. So yeah, I guess the only other thing that we didn't talk too much about was the NHL series. We've got Vancouver, Edmonton, talked about that a little bit. Dallas, Colorado, should be a hell of a series there. Man, both teams are playing incredible. Dallas had a phenomenal regular season. Colorado, very, very, very talented throughout. We got Rangers, Carolina. First game was really good. Carolina was heavily favored coming into the series. Rangers ended up getting the big 4-3 victory yesterday. And holy cow, they looked good, especially the power play. First power play goal they scored in 9 seconds. Second one was 13 seconds. They just were able to get going so quickly early on, and withstood a heavy comeback attempt by Carolina, but fell short 4-3. Vincent Trocheck, watch out for this guy. I thought he was the best player for the Rangers in the first round, and he is a former Kane. I think he's going to go for some serious revenge, and I think he's going to be the big X factor. Mika Zibanejad looked fantastic in that first game. 2 goals, 1 assist, And yeah, I think Rangers, to me, have the bit better team. They did win the President's Trophy. I was quite surprised Carolina was the favorite going in. Carolina's a great team, but I think the Rangers will take it. And then Florida, Boston. After that epic 7-game series that Florida knocked off the best regular season team in NHL history last year, this should be an absolute war. Can't wait for these teams. Look out for Matthew Tkachuk. I think he tips the scales. Broken sternum last year, was not able to complete the job and win the Stanley Cup against the Vegas Golden Knights. But this year, as long as he can stay healthy, I think he tips the scales for them. Obviously, Brad Marchand for Boston is that guy for them. David Pastrnak getting called out by his coach and scoring the OT winner to eliminate the Leafs, obviously great. Swayman being a fantastic goalie there, and Bobrovsky was the reason why, one of the main reasons why Florida was able to knock off Boston last year. Missed the first 2 games of the series, comes in relief in the third game, and ends up taking they're breaking their hearts and getting that victory. So yeah, look forward to a week ahead of sports, and thanks so much for tuning in as always, people. I want to thank our partners and sponsors as always. Anchor.fm, the easiest place to make a podcast. Just go there and you can do what Jason and I just did here. Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company, and industry leader in technology, performance, and value. And the V350 stick is a must-have for anyone in your midst. Pampas and Possibilities. They design West Coast beautiful, pretty things for your home. I recommend them fully, and they can spruce it up. And last but not least, Forever Living, the aloe vera company for health and beauty products. You can go to our website and get them at discounted rates, and we utilize a lot of the products here. So love you guys lots. Thanks so much for all your support and all your likes, subscribers, and comments. Keep them coming. We will be keeping bringing these to you every week. And Jason and I are going to even have more dynamic shows coming as we're reunited back at work. So we'll have a lot of great shows to entertain you. And please tune in the next few weeks. You will not be disappointed. Love you guys lots. Take care and have a good night. Bye for now.